What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Pat Sucks at Making Beats. I made this beat the other day, wasn't recording while I made it, so let's go back and do a quick breakdown of everything that I did. Here's what it sounds like. All right. So this is kind of cool one, kept it real simple. With this, I started with the drums. As I usually do, I start in one pattern, put everything in that, and then I break them up later. If we can still go back and kind of see what each one is. So we'll start with a kick. Open up the channel rack. Let's stretch this out. Kicks just like this. I wonder if we can solo that. All right, cool little pattern there, pretty basic. Used a one shot from Cymatics. I think they got a lot of good drum sounds, so that's what I used for this beat. And then we got, instead of a snare, I think I did this rim thing. Just, as you can see, very basic. Right on beat. Got the hats. That was about it. Hats were actually going to the piano roll. Yeah, so we tossed in here, made this little pattern. Let's see if we can do. So you see I got a little bit of a triplet flow here at the end, a couple rolls, drop the note down right here. Another thing I did was I did these velocities manually, but the pan used a random tool thing, a randomizer. So going to tools, randomize right here. And then you can just mess the settings in here, pan, just toss all those, and then kind of get a little bit more of a stereo feel, so it's not just centered or just in one ear, one in the other ear. It bounces around a little bit across the stereo spectrum. Move this back down. Go back to this, go to song. And that's basically the drums. If we just solo these three, that's what they sound like. I also threw the 808 in there. Just did a pretty basic pattern. All in the same note. Didn't feel like making it too complicated. Then that little thing at the end here, boom, boom. In the key of C minor, as you can see. And then the piano, I actually made this thing in the intro. That's what it sounds like. And then just like the 808s at the ends. And a little music theory. I'm in the key of C minor, and I basically kept it mostly pentatonic. So think of a blues scale. You go up a third. 1, 2, 3. That's a minor third up from the root. And then a little step below. So this is 2 notes below. And then up here, this G is the 5. This is the 5th note in the scale. This is the 6th note in the scale. It's just 6, the 5th, and then back down to the 1. That's all the theory we'll get into for today. And then I made this little doohickey right here too. I'm going to turn the effects off by clicking on that button. Oops. Let's do this. Here's what the piano part sounds like. I basically just stayed in the key and kind of played around with it on my MIDI keyboard, and then came up with this pattern. So that's what it sounds like, and then I threw on this delay, a little bit of reverb. Turn these on, and here's what it sounds like. Thought it was kind of a cool effect, filled out the space pretty well, without making it too busy, in my opinion. Now, one thing I did that was important on the mixing side of it was I cut out the low end. I did give it a little bit of a shape too, kind of just use your ear and figure out what sounds good to you. But I cut everything below 100 hertz. That way, it doesn't muddy up with the 808 or the kick drum. What can happen if you don't do this is the low end gets super muddy. It just makes everything sound really bad. So we can keep it clean and crisp sounding by only putting what's supposed to be in this end of the spectrum, like the kick and the 808 in this instance, and these frequencies, and then cutting these frequencies out from instruments like the piano that don't need it. And where that really came into play was here in the intro. We have those low notes that I'm hitting on the keyboard, and we don't want any lower frequencies from that to interrupt or like muddy up with the 808 and the kick. So in the intro, you can see it all gets blocked out. Even though I'm hitting low notes, everything down here is just EQ'd out of it and filtered out so it doesn't sound all muddy. For the most part. Let's see, what else did I do? Did a drum bus. One thing I like to do is instead of routing all the drum sounds straight to the master channel, like you notice the keys is just going right here, right? But these are all going right to this drum bus. So they go to this channel, and then you can add a few things, a few effects. I use this plugin by Cymatics, Diablo. Messed around with that. Did some EQing. Little bit of a compression. But what I did was I tossed a little compression on there, and then I actually turned that down. So you get just enough to kind of help glue everything together, but not too much to just dampen it up and all that. And then what's this EQ? Yeah, I took a little bit of that low end out too. Sometimes that just helps them be a little bit punchier. And then all these channels route into the drum bus, and then the drum bus routes into the master. Sidechain the kick to the 808. You can attach it here, and then just make sure the volume's turned all the way down so you don't get two kicks going at the same time, unless that's your intention. And then I think it's this one. Maybe not. This one. You can specify the sidechain right here, and now when the 808's playing at the same time as the kick will duck the signal down. So that way, again, the low end doesn't get too messy. Sounds a little bit more crisp and clean that way. Keys. And then just as a last little thing, I threw in this loop right here, this top drums, hi-hat thing. I thought sounded kind of cool, just basically to add a little bit of texture. I didn't want it to be the main theme of the hi-hats or the drums or anything, but a little bit of texture, I think, really helped it out. So here's what it sounds like. that's basically it. I arranged it so we get this intro, and then comes out of the intro to just bare bones verse, leave plenty of room for vocals, let these keys come in, kind of hook the listener, give a little bit of ear candy. Maybe make this a chorus, I don't know. Whatever the vocalist is feeling, it's a little bit, you can always rearrange it later. Intro is basically just like the verse, but I added those two little dun dun before it goes back down, those notes. And here is from the end of the intro. Kind of listen to this part back again. Actually, let's do this. We'll do one little thing right here. Move this extra note so that resolves. So coming out. Now it sounds hopefully a little bit better. You kind of hear that delay ring out a little bit too. And that's basically it. Sorry about the choppiness there. I don't know if that's my computer having an issue or if anybody knows how to fix that, let me know. I'll try to do some research myself and see if we can prevent it in future videos. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching.